Hey. So we are going to do 5.3, part 2. This is still application of percent. Today we're going to specifically talk about calculating simple interest. Okay, so I can calculate simple interest. We're only going to do one kind of percent today. So interest is the amount of money you earn or pay for money borrowed or money loaned. So when you go to a bank and you want to borrow money, they make you pay what's called interest. It's like rent on the money. So you get the money, but you also then have to pay that money back, and then you have to pay interest, rent on the money. Now, at a bank, if you have your money in the bank account, you earn a little bit of interest. It's kind of their thank you for banking with them. It's not a lot. It's a very, very small percentage. I think mine's like 1%. So very, very small. And then principal is the original amount of money deposited or borrowed. So if it's money in the bank, it's just however much money you have in the bank. And if it's money you borrowed, it's how much you borrowed for whatever reason. So this is, okay, as I was saying, sorry, dog disappeared. Simple interest formula. So this is how we find how much interest we'll either earn if our money is sitting in the bank or how much we will end up having to pay if we borrow it. So interest equals our principal times the rate. Now that rate is going to be a percentage. And then time is calculated in years. Okay, and so remember, this is our starting point. Okay. So Terry deposits $200 into a bank account and earns 3% simple interest per year. So this is our unit rate, interest per year. What is the total amount in the account after 2 years? Okay, so we have our principal, which equals 200. We have our rate, which equals 3%. But remember, if we're going to use it, we have to move the decimal over twice, 3/100ths, and our time will be 2, because it's 2 years. So now we're just going to fill all this into our formula, our equation. So interest equals PRT, so equals 200 times 3/100ths times 2. Now, the nice thing about commutative property of multiplication, it allows me to multiply things that are easier for me to multiply in my head. So 200 times 2 is easier for me to do, right? That's 400, and then times 3/100ths. Okay, so now 400 times 3/100ths, 0, 0, 12. Move my decimal over twice. That's going to get me 12. So you can see that is a very, very small amount that I just earned. Over 2 years, we only earned $12. Now notice what it says, it wants to do the total amount. So total will equal the principal plus the interest. So we'll go 200 plus 12, and we will get 212. That's it. That's what he gets after 2 years of his money sitting in the bank. $212. Okay, so here's our next example. It says Tiffany borrows $4,000 to buy a car. She pays 4% simple interest for 7 years. What will the final price of the car after 7 years be? Okay, now even when we borrow, it's the same, right? So principal equals 4,000 and rate equals 4%, but we need to move our decimal over twice. So 400ths, and then time will be 7. So interest equals 4,000 times 400ths times 7. So why don't you pause and see if you can figure out how much interest, and then when you're done, push play and see if you got the same answer as I did. Okay, so again, I'm going to use commutative property, and I'm going to multiply these two together because 7 times 4 is 28, and then I'm just going to add my 3 zeros times 400ths. So I'm going to go 28,000 times 0.04. So 0, 0, 0, 32, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I'm going to go 1, 2. So interest equals $1,120. Now that's just how much she has to pay back, including the 4,000 she borrowed. So that's where we get our total. So remember, total equals our principal, 4,000, plus our interest of 1,120. So in the end, we will owe, or Tiffany will owe, $5,120. And that's how borrowing money works. Okay, so things to remember. Percentage needs to equal a decimal, and total will equal principal plus interest. Okay, so here's your independent practice. Try to figure out how much Ariana, I have no idea, will pay in total when she borrows $400. And don't forget to fill out your form. All right, until next time.